Think about it. We use our mouths for everything. Talking, eating, breathing. But have you ever just paused for a second and really considered the mind-blowing bioengineering that is constantly happening in there 24/7?
Because, your mouth isn't just some simple opening. Oh no. It is a complete dynamic ecosystem. It's ground zero for our entire digestive system. And maybe most importantly, it's our body's very first line of defense against everything the outside world throws at us.
So let's get right into it. Section 1, the vital gateway. We're going to explore exactly why the mouth is this critical entry point for both starting digestion and mounting a defense.
Okay, so picture this. The moment food enters your mouth, two major players jump into action. You've got the salivary glands, and you've got the mucus lining, which we call the mucosa. These two are a team, working in perfect sync from the very first bite. And that brings us to our first key player, what I like to call the unsung hero of the oral cavity. Saliva. Yeah, that stuff. It might seem pretty ordinary, but trust me, it is a biological superhero. So where does all this saliva actually come from? Well, it's produced by two different kinds of glands. We've got three pairs of major glands, big ones that really kick into gear when we're eating. But then we also have hundreds of tiny minor glands all over the inside of our mouth, and they're working around the clock, just constantly keeping everything moist. Get this. Together, they can produce up to 1.5 liters of saliva every single day.
So what even is saliva? You might be surprised to hear it's about 99% water. But the real magic, the true power, it is all packed into that other 1%. So what in the world is hiding in that tiny fraction?
That little 1% is an absolute powerhouse. Seriously, it's got ions like bicarbonate to fight off acids and protect our teeth. It's loaded with enzymes. Amylase starts breaking down carbs right away, and lipase gets to work on fats. And it's full of critical proteins. You have mucins that make everything slippery so we can swallow, and then you have lysozyme and immunoglobulin A, or IgA, which are like our own personal security guards, attacking nasty bacteria on sight.
So who's running this whole operation? Our nervous system, that's who. When we're relaxed, that rest and digest mode, our parasympathetic system signals for a nice, large flow of thin, watery saliva. But when we're stressed out, that fight or flight response, the sympathetic system slams on the brakes, reducing the flow and making what's left thick and sticky. This right here is exactly why you get that classic dry mouth feeling whenever you're nervous or anxious.
Okay, so now let's shift our focus to the second hero in our story, the oral mucosa. This is the incredibly smart, super adaptive barrier that lines and protects our entire mouth. The mucosa is actually built in 3 distinct layers. Up top, you've got the epithelium. That's the front line, the part that's in direct contact with food and germs. Underneath that is the lamina propria, which is a connective tissue full of blood vessels and nerves. And then the deepest layer is the submucosa, which anchors the whole thing to the muscle and bone down below. Now here's where it gets really brilliant. That top layer, the epithelium, it isn't one size fits all. No way. It actually customizes its structure depending on its job. In places that get a lot of friction, like your gums and the roof of your mouth, it's keratinized, making it super tough and protective. But in flexible spots, like your cheeks and lips, it's non-keratinized, so it's soft and can stretch. And of course, on the tongue, it's specialized to hold our incredibly important taste buds. The really crucial thing to get here is that the mucosa is so much more than just a wall. Yeah, protection is its #1 job, but it's also a sensory organ, letting us feel temperature and touch. It has this amazing ability to absorb things directly, which is exactly why some medicines are designed to be placed under the tongue for super fast delivery into the bloodstream. And finally, it has a secretory function, because it's the home for all those little salivary glands we were talking about earlier.
So, now that we've met our two heroes, saliva and the mucosa, let's see how they work together as a perfectly integrated team. because they absolutely do not work alone. Saliva and the oral mucosa are a dynamic duo with one single unified mission: to handle both digestion and defense for our entire body.
And you can really see their perfect partnership in action. Saliva is constantly washing over the mucosa, keeping it clean, keeping it lubricated, and delivering all those defensive antibodies. And in return, the mucosa provides that tough physical barrier and a safe home for the minor salivary glands. It's a beautiful system. They create this incredible, robust, self-maintaining environment. So this brings us to our final section, where we connect all this amazing biology right back to our everyday lives and the choices we make.
You see, your mouth is this really delicate ecosystem, and it's always trying to stay in balance. The fancy word for this in biology is homeostasis. It's this dynamic state of equilibrium that lets the whole system work perfectly.
And that leaves us with one last, really important question to think about. Consider your daily choices, the foods you eat, the things you drink, how you take care of your teeth. Are those choices helping and supporting this incredible, delicate balance inside your mouth? Or are they actively disrupting it? It's definitely something worth chewing on,